Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Bets Race of the Day for Saturday, December the 1st, race number 9 at the Big A. It's the Grade 1 Cigar Mile. It's the last Grade 1 of the year in New York, sort of the unofficial start of winter, but we've got 4 graded stakes races on the card at the Big A on Saturday. You can play them all, including the cigar, with a DRF Bets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com. Receive a 300% deposit match. Here's the field for the Cigar Mile. We have 8 expected to run this one-turn 8 furlongs for $750,000. Free formulator past performances can be accessed on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post-position order. Mike, the number 1 is Mendelssohn. I know you've never been a big fan of Mendelssohn, but I do think we disagree over the quality of his last 2 races. I thought he ran quite well in both the Jockey Club and the Breeders' Cup.
I think he ran okay. I don't think he ran, I don't think he did anything special in those races. I'll just say that. I know the paces were, let's say, legitimate to fast. I don't know. I think those races were okay. I don't know how much I love him necessarily turning back to the one-turn mile here. Maybe it will help him. I don't think the rail draw did him any favors. I'll put it this way. If he ran fine his last 2 races, that's great. He's part of a very, very weak 3-year-old crop. As fast as the pace was in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, I don't know. How well did he run in there if he's going to get closed down by Discreet Lover? I don't know, Dan. I think he's okay. I don't like him that much. He's a very uninteresting price on the morning line. I'm not betting him.
Oh, he's 2-1 on the morning line, and he's going to be the favorite, I would think, unless Coppertown takes a ridiculous amount of money, which I guess is a possibility. I don't know. I like the Jockey Club because he was really on a hard chase all the way on the back stretch through the turn. He finally put away the pace setter. He made the lead, and then the closers got him. And in the Breeders' Cup, listen, Ryan Moore really hustled him out of there. He didn't get much of a breather. I like the way he spurted clear from everyone, but accelerate on the turn, and then they came and got him in the stretch. Maybe the cutback to a mile works. Certainly from a figure standpoint, he fits. This may not be the greatest cigar mile in the world.
Right, that's true.
But you mentioned the pace scenario and the rail draw, and we look at the Timeform U.S. pace projector. You have to think that Ryan Moore is going to be aggressive from the rail, and he could be facing a fast pace scenario.
Yeah, I think it's probably is going to play out like that too. I mean, they don't feel like they have any other choice with Mendelssohn but to go from in there. And it seems like even if this was a spot where they thought, there's other speed, let's try and sit. I don't think Mendelssohn's best race is when they ride him that way. I think his best race is when they send him and try and put him on the front. That's what they'll do here. I think it's going to work against him.
Several horses skipped the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile to await the Cigar Mile, coming out of the Grade 2 Kelso Handicap at Belmont on September the 22nd. That race was won by Pattern Recognition. We'll get to him in a minute. I can understand anybody who wants to take Sunny Ridge out of that race. I thought he ran just as well as Pattern Recognition. 4 races on the main track that day at Belmont. All 4 races basically won in gate-to-wire fashion. Most of those horses raced near the whale. Sunny Ridge tried to race wide from far back, and considering that the pace was so slow, he ran great. Yeah,
I agreed with that. I mean, that not only was that, there was only 4 dirt races. It was hard to tell, but it felt like speed was an advantage on that card. And then you just throw in the fact that that was just such a rated pace, and they took this horse back off of it. He came wide. He is the horse that I want out of that race, and he's definitely a horse I'm using in this race.
And it's just such a nice, versatile horse. It doesn't matter whether it's a mile and a half, as he ran a good second in the Brooklyn, or a mile. You know he's going to come up with a good performance, and that fast pace could work into his favor. The number 3 is Pat on the Back, and Jeremiah Englehart's done a really good job with Pat on the Back. 4 starts, 2 wins, 2 tough second-place finishes where he lost photos. Won the Empire Classic last time out. Mr. Buff, the 3rd-place finisher, came back. He's beaten Open Optional Claiming Company a couple of times with 91 and 93 buyers, but this is a big step up in class.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he's just facing some better horses here, but at least they're doing it at the right time. He's in very good form. I'll say this about him, too. I really like him cutting back. I know he won at a mile and an 1/8 last time in that Empire Classic. I think he's a lot better going shorter than the 9 furlongs. The mile, the one-turn mile, I think really hits him between the eyes. He just happens to land in a pretty tough spot here.
The 4 Stan the Man really appreciates Aqueduct, never off the board from 7 lifetime starts here, and ran some nice figures towards the beginning of 2018. Then he went away for most of the summer into the fall. He came back with a return effort going 7 furlongs. I thought it was a rock-solid effort. The buyer came back weak. There wasn't a lot of pace. They went the half mile, the leaders did, in almost 47 seconds flat. I needed to see a little bit more as a prep for the Cigar Mile, but this horse could be useful over the winter for Terra Nova.
I agree with all that stuff. I mean, it feels like they're just taking a shot spot here in a race like this. A horse who, you know, his figures are solid from start to finish. He's always been that kind of a horse, but they aren't figures that really put him in a mix in a race like this.
The key to this race, the X factor, so to speak, is the number 5 Coppertown going out for Todd Pletcher, because this horse might have the most natural talent of any runner in this race. He ran a giant gave a giant performance 2 starts back, going a 1-turn mile and a 16th. He whipped pattern recognition. He got a giant time form U.S. number, a 106 Buyer speed figure. Then he disappeared for about 370 days. So he's brilliant, yet he's brittle. I thought his Keeneland performance, he came back. He won in workmanlike fashion. There wasn't a lot of pace. He sat parked outside. He was ridden like the best horse. He won easily. Did he get enough out of that race to handle horses like that he's going to be facing in the Cigar Mile in only a second start off the long
That's the real question, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if he did. I guess if you want to just take the positive view of it, Todd Pletcher thinks he got enough out of it. He came right into the Cigar Mile. This horse was really good last year. I know you're only talking about a couple of starts after he missed all that time following his debut. But he looked really good in both of those races. He missed over a year after that. I liked his return race, not only because it was sprinting, which is fine for him. I don't think sprinting works against him, but he didn't break that sharply in that race. Castellano just took him out 4 wide. He let him carry all the ground in that race. He won it very easily. I think if nothing else, it showed he can still run. It showed that he doesn't necessarily need the lead to be at his absolute best. I think this is a good horse, and I think he fits really well in this race.
Could be sitting outside, hounding Mendelssohn in prime position when the field turns into the stretch. We have a positive Todd Pletcher formulator fact to share. Past 5 years, older last out winners stretching out from sprint to route, 45 to 60-day layoffs. Not only 36% winners, but 9 of 11 on the board and a positive return on investment. The 6 True Timber is a really honest horse. He won 3 starts back. He beat pattern recognition. He did so on the square, I thought,
so
with a 103 Buyer speed figure. He was just no match for No Dozing, who freaked out in the Bold Ruler last time out. True Timber is an honest horse, but A, I don't think he has enough speed to stay within range of the 1 and the 5 early, and B, I'm just not sure he's a grade 1 horse.
I agree with all that stuff, and I also feel like, I guess the 1-turn mile doesn't have to be disqualifying for him. I think he's a better sprinter. It seems to me when you start taking apart his PPs, every time Kieran cut him back to sprint is when he really got good. He's obviously been in good form through spaced out starts this year. He didn't run that great last time. Let's just be honest. He wasn't going to beat No Dozing anyway, but you watch the replay of that race on the far turn, he looked like he was going to finish last, and all of a sudden he just got up for second. I think because nobody else really ran in there. That was a very disappointing performance last time.
Timeline won his first 4 starts like he was going to be the next star for Chad Brown, and the wheels have basically come off since then. Last time out in the Kelso, it was an improved performance. There was not a lot of pace for him to rally into, but if you believe the rail was good, he was saving ground every step of the way. He finished an even 3rd, maybe shorter, and the 1-turn mile is better for Timeline. He should get a better pace scenario here. I can understand anyone that says, I just don't trust him after 11 starts.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about him. I liked him a lot at the beginning. He has lost me since then. I do think maybe the 1-turn racing is what he's best at, so maybe that works for him. It's hard to reconcile, the 2 races against Sunny Ridge though recently, because Sunny Ridge ran better than him in the Kelso last time, and Sunny Ridge crushed him in the state dinner when this horse just got absolutely loose on the lead.
Let's take a look at our top picks for Saturday's DRF Bets Race of the Day. I understand the knocks against pattern recognition. Might have been on a gold rail last time out, certainly was able to set a nice easy pace that day and had the advantage from a pace situation. But this is a horse that Chad just seemed to have figured out. If you take away the 1 race off the long layoff to kick off his 2018 campaign, he's run 4 triple-digit Buyer speed figures. I think he has the ability to sit off the pace, and if the 1 and the 5 go, I can see pattern recognition sitting into a prime 3-wide stalking spot. We'll find out how good he is. I like the fact that his coming out party, so to speak, came over this course and distance last year.
Yeah, those exhaustion. Listen, he's got some good races on his card. I don't like him as much as you do. I was going to say, you missed the wedding, so you're going to the funeral, but you didn't miss the wedding. You liked him last time, and you were right. He ran a good race that day, but he ran that race with all the best of it. He does not have the best of it in this race, and I hear what you're saying. Can he sit outside from that post and track the pace? He can, but they're going to be going fast in here. I don't think he's going to be tracking. He's going to be chasing. I think it makes things much more difficult for him.
He's going to need to improve. I believe he'll be the 3rd choice at post time. I prefer him to be around the 4-1 range. 7-2 to me seems a little bit light, but I'm going to go back to pattern recognition, hoping he trips out, hoping maybe Mendelssohn, the Breeders' Cup Classic was the goal. Maybe he's wiped out after 2 hard efforts. I'm curious to see what we get from Coppertown off the bench. How do you play this race? You like Coppertown. You think he's probably going to be in front turning into the stretch, or at least battling with Mendelssohn.
We'll see. I just hope he comes back and runs one of his good races, because I think one of his good races in this Cigar Mile gives him a real chance. And I really only like him and Sunny Ridge. I do not want any part of Mendelssohn at a short price. If he wins, I lose.
Mike's going 5, 2, 1, and 7. I'm going 8, 5, 2, and 1 in the Grade 1 Cigar Mile. It is your DRF Bets Race of the Day for Saturday, one of 4 graded races at Aqueduct on Saturday, and you can bet them all with a DRF Bets account. There's a 300% deposit match waiting for you to play this Aqueduct card. Deposit 50, bet with 200 at bets.drf.com, and approximate post time for the cigar, 3:45 Eastern. Good luck.